herpes, like cold sores as an example, labialis, are something that becomes more cosmetically alarming. Now the virus, the thing that gets concerning health-wise is the genital herpes virus, because a lot of cervical cancers, most of them have been related to the virus itself. So in that situation, the more often it occurs, the more often the virus is prominent in women, particularly, the greater the opportunity, the greater the chances of cervical cancer. Is I've cooked these garbanzo beans overnight. Garbanzo beans are one of the longest demanding cooking as far as time goes for cooking. These were cooked for about 10 hours. Generally, I don't soak the beans. I just start them at a boil and simmer them. Garbanzo beans are also good for other types of things. Their protein amounts, their ratios. You can use garbanzo beans as an example, just cooked like this whole, rather than making a hummus or a specific dish, and just put it over a whole grain, such as brown rice, or even on salads. Using garbanzo beans on salad I find is very tasteful as well. Always remember that foods high in arginine will have a tendency to create a worsening of the condition, the severity, number one, or the outbreak, number two. So that's something to be aware of. There are basically maybe a half of a dozen of this virus strain that are related to the ones that become more dangerous. And once again, those are the ones that are related to the genitals. Broccoli and cauliflower, good sources of lysine. Carrots are in here because I think it just adds color to the process or to the dish. So what we're going to do as usual is we're going to put a little bit of water on the bottom of the pan. We're going to bring it to a quick boil here. Okay, now broccoli and cauliflower, you can still reap the benefits. It doesn't have to be done in this particular fashion, but you can have it in various dishes, such we've talked before about steaming, doing it this fashion, or baking, and you'll still reap the benefits of getting the lysine. We do understand that herpes, this virus, is rich in arginine, and the reason I mention that is arginine has more or less an antagonistic amino acid known as lysine, even though it's not antagonistic in the sense where it's an enemy. What lysine does is it has the capacity of draining arginine from the virus, which means that the virus is less capable of propagation. The more common condition would be the shingles. Herpes zoster is an example. And herpes zoster is something that occurs generally, not all the time, but generally in the trunk of the body, the chest region, the back. And those can be the most painful and uncomfortable. And there's something called postherpetic neuralgia. They can occur months or years after an outbreak where the peripheral pain is present. Spring water. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover this. We're going to use your spoon. And rule of thumb when cooking rice is to add the water to where it's about the knuckle, the length of a knuckle, your first knuckle, the surface of the water above the rice. Dish this up.